Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have Warwick, the original champion that I made guides for, that I was known for, along with your Evelyns and Orns and Volibears. And in this one, no, I am not the rank 1 Warwick in Korea, although that would be interesting if I ever found the time or the talent to be able to do that. No, we have the Mega Experimenter. I have no idea how to say his name, but he is rank 1 in Korea and he plays jungle. A lot of the higher ranked Warwick players tend to be laners. Usually just because you can offset some of his weaknesses and you can snowball very heavily in lane. And I thought, well, let's have a look to see if there's a Korean game where he can basically, force the classical, well, we have to FF or we just straight up lose. Because in the first Warwick video we did earlier in the year, we talked about what do you do if you're behind when your laners are losing? What do you do if you get to the mid to late game with an early game champion? How do we navigate this arena? So don't think, oh, look, it's another snowball. Yeah, it's a snowball with a champion that needs to snowball in order to win. It's not a champion that you kind of want to mess around with, especially when you're building squishy and relinquish that lead in any capacity. Now, obviously with Warwick, we start Q. We do not need whatsoever to get a leash. We can give that question mark to our existence. Runes were on your screen. You would have seen them. Secondary domination. Here we go. Bottom lane. The Galio level 1 and the Kalista with Galio. It really is obnoxious, but at the same time, Samira can dish it back at a mega level. Okay, flashes are burned. Galio's gonna try. He has a flash auto attack. It misses. She's gonna chug her pots and run away. The edge hits, the auto should kill, and that's very nicely done. So, there's a Warwick play when you see this. It's very, very important that you see this. Because Samira's gonna get back into lane. Set will reach level 2 faster because he's getting solo experience. And our champion here is gonna go for the buff, grump. Sorry, yeah, buff, grump, buff. The order is inconsequential. And then look to make impact. Now at this point, you know that the Echo got leashed and started on bottom side. How do you snowball this? Well, look at the Echo. He says, hold up, they have no sums. I can flash. It looks kind of funny. I can throw my... This is just dumb. Okay, this is still Master Tier career. It's still Grandmaster level, maybe borderline challenge on... Actually, definitely challenge on some servers. But yeah, that's a little silly. Warwick should see this once he's finished so we can detach. Now, we know Echo's moving up through the river. We do have an Akshan in the mid lane versus a Silas who is melee. We can try and do something here. We activate our W, we get the flash E, we Q through. Doesn't really do anything. I don't think I'm necessarily a huge fan of the full commit, but it's something I've done a lot myself. Especially if you have a snowballing mid laner, like a Silas. Let's look to make that impact. Now, look, Echo goes back to the bottom side, yes. Recommits to the gank, kills the support. What happened? I moved it around. And now you have the TP from the side. Warwick immediately rotates, kills the Echo. Perfect. That's what we're looking for. So the gank mid opens up the TP availability of the Silas. The Echo wastes his time. Let me move this back here because I was looking for Galio. And Silas's face showed up. My mistake. Echo's wasting all this time. Now, in your games, alright, very, very important. In your games, this will happen. This will happen. If someone at this elo, on this server, is making this kind of time commitment to one side of the map and a way a Rek'Sai would, it means that you have full accessibility to do what you want across the river. Look at this. Low HP, W is active, use it. That's why Warwick is so good at snowballing and ganking early. And if you don't look at these things, we charge up our E, we can do an auto Q through, and both he gets feared and he dies under the tower. It's clinical, it's easy, it's simple. The Echo now definitely went back to base and will definitely get items. Yep, we know he's going to get items, which means he's going to look to collapse here onto the top crab, or at the very least, do his rebuff. So our Warwick player, because he's not only a good Warwick player, he's also a good jungler, moves back, hits the plant just to see if Echo's going to commit to this, or do his red or Krugs or Raptors first. We don't know. Warwick then begins taking on the Krug, the scuttle, makes sure that Crustacean never sees the light of day again, at least until a few minutes later. And obviously Echo doesn't show up, so that's safety. Silas is now mid lane. We fall back. This is important with Warwick as well. This second spawn camp, especially in a buff grump clear, is huge. We must secure. It's gonna propel us to level 5. And now, yes, he hasn't gone back to base, and GP just moved down to ward. This is huge. I hope you saw that. Okay, he was here on this. GP moves down with the pushing wave to ward. Echo hasn't shown. We took this. We have a deep ward here. He must be around topside. He must be looking for something. We do have W active, 3 points. Obviously, we'll see if he maxes that further. As I said, he's gone for the domination. So I do enjoy the domination tree as well. You can obviously go Cosmic Insight and Booties, which is obviously a standard Korean jungle page, a high elo jungle page. Echo shows top lane there. The Ignite still kills our communist friend, and Echo gets off a gank top lane. So now you're thinking, how do I snowball this? I'm 2-0-1. My lane is seemingly in a pretty rough position. I mean, unfortunately, the Kalista got all the assists, but look at this. He has not spent gold. Warwick benefits very heavily here from his kit in being able to actually sustain these early fights when other champions might not be able to. I haven't spent my money, I haven't spent my cash gold. I don't really want to fight the Echo who has an Am Tome and a Dark Seal. Just not something I really want to do. But with the Warwick, while you don't want to do it, the E damage reduction plus your healing on your passive and your W, extra damage and so on, that's huge. And obviously, percentage damage and healing on the Q, I enjoy. So we hold the way for the Fiora to absorb some of that experience, which is huge and important because we have not taken this, or this. He shows up bottom side. Here we'll be very, very close to 6 after the gank. What do? Straight to the bottom lane. Remember, the goal here is to snowball with Warwick and to get to a position where we can just take over the game. Now, Mobies and Iron Spike Whip. Now, we've lost the Tiamat, so I do think you go Tiamat or Iron Spike Whip, but you can choose depending on your itemization choices. There you go. Great heads-up play from the jungler. Really disgusting not paying attention there from the Galio. I don't know how that works in this elo. Really, I do not. We see the Echo. We know he didn't go back up. We know that I'm super low, he can just yeet over the tower. Yeah. But great from the Warwick. Here we go, his ult is available. And again, lazy back. I love, it's very satisfying. Hold your Q, and emotes are working now. This is another story I'll get to when we have a bit of a quiet moment. Silas roams up to kill the GP as well. Abuse it. Abuse it early because it will become a monster later. Well, classically. That's why he's getting buffed. So Warwick uses his ult there. Great abuse of the back timing. Same. Both lanes having this issue. Echo gets freebies as well, so does the Warwick. And you've got to look for these opportunities. Now, you push the wave. Goes back to base. You're by yourself. Set could look to anticipate this and roam down with the Echo, but doesn't. Purely because by killing the Samira, you offset the back timers. You offset the back timers for the bottom lane. So that's an absolute free dragon. Always look for that. Now, this is where things get very interesting. Most Warwick players will then, most players will start to think, okay, boof, da-doof, this, invade, maybe this and this. You can't afford, at this stage, to loop back around and try something again bottom lane. And that's something you have to weigh the pros and cons of what are the possibilities of me even getting the Herald and making these kind of plays in the first place. But snowballing yourself means snowballing a lane. Again, face checks a bush. I don't know. Silas stole the GP's ultimate. Warwick immediately rotates. Doesn't go to the red. See that, ladies and gentlemen? Does not go to the red. He rotates. Does this do good things for him? No. This is terrible. This is horrible. This is very irritating. You don't want to rotate to this and get nothing. Now you know Herald is gone. And in this situation, you will lose it. But I'm willing sometimes, especially when I have tempo control and the enemy jungle is useless, to make that play. In lower elos, you will not lose the Herald. I've had coachings this week where Heralds are ignored by both sides when it was available. The Warwick takes his red, doesn't do any of the other camps, which again, still rank 1. And now he could actually go look to contest it, but it's too late. At this point, moving up to the blue, all it does is it continues to snowball in camps that have elevated experience, like the blue and the Grump, and it denies the Echo potentially, he must be going here, potentially invading us and stealing it. So you press W to get some information, just to see where exactly the Time Lord might be. Oh, hello, Akshan, you're actually in my way, and you're going back. Do you see how he holds it? It's beautiful. Holds it, and the Moby Boots, plus the Relentless Hunter, let's look at that again, because a lot of you are probably a bit confused. The Moby Boots, plus the Relentless Hunter, gives him 601 movement speed, which means, okay, because he's already got 5 out of 5 stacks, that's the benefit of this build. You get them stacks very quickly. And of course, it is out of combat, but we are currently not in combat, so 601 means that our range is absolutely mega. Hello, sir. We charge our E, we can then Q through, we've got the Iron Spike Whip, and he's dead. It's beautiful. It's easy. and it works very well for this particular playstyle, especially if you need to be everywhere. Echo's top side. He's forced to ult because Warwick again immediately rotates. The Gallo shows up, fears the GP. He's going to be obliterated by the tooth and claw of the Chimera, and then Silas has shown up as well. Beautiful counter ganks. He's literally everywhere. Now, I'm going to pause it again. I apologize because it's very important when you're snowballing. Level 6, level 1, level 1, level 1. This, I had a Grandmaster Jungler tweet at me because I talked about this very heavily versus his Krugs. Look at this. 6. Just today, talking about, you know, when is it okay to do this as a farming jungler? And you will not do this as a farming jungler. Please do not do this as a farming jungler. You will never you'll never be in this situation because all of that scaling to get 6, all of that camp experience, you know, camp spawning tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, whatever those levels might be, you know, level 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are huge for you. The point for you as a farming jungler is to play around your ultimate and to scale. As a carnivorous jungler, a snowballing jungler that really needs to control the early game, I don't usually like to see 3 camps left at rank 1 by 10 minutes, but at the same time, it's very important to understand what are my win conditions and how can I keep playing towards it. Now, Akshan moves. All right, there we go. Excuse me. You think you can bamboozle me with your pike ability? No, sir. We did see this set there. We die anyway. That's a little silly. I don't think we really want to force that. But we are able to clean up. So the benefit of this playstyle is, yes, you hamstring yourself a little bit in terms of hamstring yourself in terms of experience gain, but your laners get fed, you get raw gold amount, but I don't like it. Usually I would like to see a bit more, hey, let me do the red and then the raptors and then go do this. Or early on, if you're not looking too much to gank bottom lane, then maybe I could do blue, grump, wolves, red, and then react, you know, instead of wasting time here. But obviously, as we said, this gank did create the opportunity to go bottom lane. I think we'll do another Warwick game soon that focuses a bit more on how to sequence and get that 6-7 CS per minute. Look at this. Carnivorous. He's so damn quick. I was going to say fast and quick, so quick. He's so damn quick. He's so fast. And with the Moby Boots and the Relentless Hunter, he can get around the map and be literally everywhere to snowball out of control. And you'll see here, he is going into that Blade of the Rune King. Attack speed is always good on Warwick. More healing, more damage. The pure AD game styles are not usually my forte. I mean, I have done it, I do enjoy it, but usually my knowledge and ability as a jungler is heavily centered on macro, teamfighting, pathing, denial, tracking, you know, target selection. So that's better suited for me to be a tank. Yeah, it's better suited for me to be a tank and have a bit more experience and basically peel and so on. But if you're full AD, remember, you have to be an assassinator. You have to do damage, you know, you want to dive the backline and kill the carry, you know? You're not looking necessarily to straight up peel, you're looking to provide a lot of damage to the fight. They overstay once more, Echo tries to go in, it's a Callista so nothing happens. Again, look, straight out of base. This is an aberration, you're not going to see this a lot. You're not going to see this a lot. In fact, I might even turbo sprint through a game again, as I said, very soon. And I want to talk about how Warwick can farm as well. So let's put it on the table that Warwick will get one a little sooner than this time. But this is how you would play low elo. Sometimes. Not all the time, because I do think you should be farming, and there won't be this much action. But he's just moving from one side of the map to the other. Nothing can happen without him getting there. And because his ult has such good range and he's trapping the laners for lazy backs, he's just getting free kills. He's 10-1-7 now. I don't know what to tell you. I would love him, and I'm sure he would love to just go and take some camps off the map. But I love the fact that these are just sitting at rank 1 and not being touched. I mean, he did take these. 57 to 73. Echo's not even getting much going either. And he is counter jungling. You know, let's put it down. He's counter jungling. He's getting the Drake. He could have actually saved his Q a little bit later just to avoid getting knocked back. Please don't tell me that the rank 1 Korean Warwick player doesn't know that. He knows it, right? Things happen, doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. I always get that comment. I'll play a Warwick game and then one dragon, I'll get knocked back, and then I get in the comments, did you know you can hold your Q and it doesn't knock you back? I did, thank you. Appreciate it. Again, low HP target. Ult has mega range. Dead. Iron Spike Whip. And of course... Oh, no, now we have Iron Spike Whip. That's the Blade of the Rune King. Excuse me. W activation. We have 4 points in each right now. We can block. We have E reduction available as necessary. We're just looking to keep Silas alive here. Good. Very nice. Now, this is a very chaotic game, but hopefully it shows you that to snowball, right, it does require sometimes that you forsake certain principles in order to match the win conditions of the game and really take your lead to the next level. But as I said, I do advise a little bit of farming in between. He's now chilling in base. I don't know. Taking a phone call. Excuse me. Waiting for some gold amounts, I guess. Straight onto the field again. We do want level 11 before the next fight. So ideally here, please take red, probably Raptors, and get 11. Now we can see mid lane, they're pushing up, so we want a Shadow. Okay, because they're rank 1, I think they were, at least. You get very minimal experience. It does literally nothing to you. But we see Echo's bottom side, the red's up, they trigger a fight. He was shadowing the Fog of War. Now here, as I said, you do want to target the backline, but don't be stupid. Sometimes you do have to peel, you know, kill the target in front of you. But because he does so much damage, they just walk, they don't even know what the champion does, I swear. It's Korea, they have no idea what this champion does. And bada bing, bada boom. It's simple, it's easy, and they surrender. Everyone's griefed, nothing really to say above it. Let's actually do a quick spritz through of another game. I'm gonna pick an EUS game at random, and we'll just run through it very quickly and talk about how to farm a bit more, so you get a bit more of a whole picture of the champion. Okay, we've jumped into EUS. This is the rank 1 Warwick. Just want to cut through this one. Runes are very similar. No big change. PTA, Alacrity, Coup de Gras, Eyeball, and Relentless Hunter. We're actually going into the Raptors here. That's interesting. Usually, if you wish to maintain a high CSPM and you're against a jungler that might cheese your buff, I wouldn't always recommend doing the Raptors here. I mean, if Shaco's going to feast on your bones if you decide to go to your blue now. So let's actually see what happens. But Warwick, again, does a very good job because you have W. You do have W. And obviously protecting some of your camps and getting them to be that level 4 is very important. So let's see how we go through this. Oh, the Ash Hawk shot, man. This is just basically griefing, I don't know. But yeah. I think Warwick does well against Shaco, so he doesn't really want to take the fight. And he couldn't have known that Warwick was going to do Raptor, so whatever. Shaco going for the full clear. Hawkshot does tell them where we are, and we do have 5 camps, so look at this. Very important to note, with the new itemization shift at the beginning of the season, look at this. 301 is your 5 camp clear, so it's not terrible. It's pretty good, actually, by technical standards, just because it gets you in position for a crab. It's not Volleyball where you can get a gank and then crab, but it does give you a lot more control and deny the the counter jungling from the Shaco. Now, in this case, you have to weigh the pros and cons. Can I gank? Can I gank? Can I run across to get this? Do they have prio? None of those things are true, so we go back to base and we get the pickaxe. Not straight into Tiamat, unfortunately. But as I said, this player likes to go Kraken Slayer. So Shaco went for the counter jungling on the Raptors. Okay? And this is why that early back is very, very good if you recognize that you cannot take the bottom crab as well. Shaco, do you not realize that when we press W, we see you? Through the exhaust. The autos are so important in those situations, but you have to know when to pull the trigger. Your Q's back up, go back in. You do have E to absorb some damage. Double fear, very nice. Auto attacks as well. Q is up again. This is beautifully played. This is beautiful. It is beautifully played. That skin's good. But, this is not where we want to be, Miss Katarina. This is not where we want to be. Well played. So, that's a very different approach, as you can see, to the snowballing. It basically relinquishes a little bit of early ganking pressure and rotational effect if things are happening. Okay, so out of base here, basically what you do then now is you can sequence all the way down, you can cut the Shaco off, and it just gives you a lot more room for farming if you need to. But it's a lot more passive, you see? We can just sprint through it. It's really well played, good reads. I like the Tiamat purchase a bit more because Titanics is just a bit more of a core item. But the Korean jungler just really loves chaos. He loves building random stuff, random chaos, every game. Shield bow, Wit's End obviously, that's a good one. Gore Drinker, Stride Breaker, as I said, Blade of the Rune King. whatever else you can think of, he probably builds it. A lot of Zhonya's, Nash's too also. Garage sale, every single game. Every single game. There obviously are some reasons why he would do that, but here, this case is a lot more Volibear style Warwick, I guess is the best way to put it. It's a lot more Warwick played as your 5 camp meta jungler, and you can definitely do it. It just requires great reads, which we had in this game, so it's very nice. Katarina rotates. Warwick is very, very good into Katarina. We do have a Lulu, so that helps us a lot. Exhaust ult isn't very, enjoyable whatsoever. We can just auto, and then we'll get another Q off, hopefully. There we go. And the Shaco. Eventually, it's just too much to bear. I mean, you're playing against a Malzahar. It's not exactly the most interactive mid laner. Not ideal for us in this situation, but okay. My top laners recently have been really horrific. It's upsetting to me. Use this, because obviously we have Relentless Hunter as well. Straight out of base. And now you can say basically, okay, he's going to go top side because he didn't have a red buff. He could easily go to the Heralds. I'm going to straight to the objective. I like this a lot. We are nowhere near 7. So there's no benefit in doing a camp whatsoever. We can just yoink this. Karma roams mid because she has prior on that. People don't pay attention to support roams at all. It's not that difficult. And they're always going to come from the bottom side usually. That's why I like to swap it around sometimes. But maybe I'm giving too much credit to the laners. Possibly. We take that, we smite that, we eat that. Now, it's a little too soon, I think, to elevate the game state. We don't want to sow chaos while the Shaco is 3-1-0 and the Katarina is just mega roaming around. We need the defense of the towers, and we don't have force lanes to push up too far. I don't know. There's nothing you can do, but the way he's playing in the Kraken build, significantly higher damage and healing than you're probably used to. Full sequence your camps. Full sequence your camps. Let the game happen, let the game come to you. That's what Warwick's very, very good at. To the Krugs, that's denied, so we don't need to hit it. Don't hit it. There we go, Shaco showed up. We missed the ult, but that's fine if you're not using it as a gap closer. Are you really a Warwick main? Because it sometimes does that. It's really buggy. The red smite, hopefully that can happen. We have nothing up right now, so we're going to have to flash. Ashe comes over the wall. Maybe a little bit of an overcommit once we saw the Shaco, but again, Katarina is just going to be roaming. So this is a situation that you probably find yourself in a lot. You make 1 or 2 bad plays, or not necessarily always bad plays, just overzealous plays. And now you find yourself in a bit of a rough situation. How do we actually carry this game? Again, out of base, where do we go? He's not using the new skin. That's a little bit of disappointment. Obviously, that's why I did the first game. I wanted a little bit of cosmetic as well as Snowball activation. We can't scan to see if it's warded, which it is. So I don't like that. I don't like sitting there if we don't have a scanner available. But if he's gonna go base and TP and just give it to us on a plate, then 18 till ult, we won't need it. Very nice. We can herald this. Because he has no TP, he has to walk back. Katarina again. Straight out of mid lane. Okay, we can fear her and then try and run away. We do have ult to escape. Oh, we're on a dagger. Pain. Hello, Shaco. Yeah. Okay, she actually runs away. What was it telling you? See? You see? It's coming through a little bit. Right. Once we respawn though, please, straight to Dragon. Activate the Herald. Unfortunately, we didn't get to use it because Katarina basically mid-gap. Into the Raptors, obviously, as we talked about in the video on the main channel. This is pushing now nicely. We're gonna lose that anyway, so it doesn't matter. Group up as 3, and we can break the game open. So we didn't have quite the snowballing escapade that we did. Okay, we're just looking for plates there, guys. We're not looking to overcommit. Just looking for plates. It's not quite the snowballing escapade and sort of having to rotate to every situation that the Korean game was. You have time to do camps, move to the next thing. You have time to do something, fall back to your camps. And especially when the enemy mid is super rotating like that. Tom Kench. That champion will never not be obnoxious. Am I right? I think I'm right. I know I'm right. 333 with 100 CS. So it's a completely different layout, but he has 100% KP. So the game is really looking kind of dire from the rest of his team, you know? Which means this farming here is significantly better from a snowball to scale scenario. So not a snowball to win, to snowball to be useful. We do want to be cautious because it's Ashe. We need to make sure our ult will hit. And again, they won't expect... it's unfortunate. Now Karma's gonna rotate, but an exhaust again. Can we talk about this, this spell? Everyone has exhaust. Exhaust, exhaust. I'm exhausted at seeing it. Oh my goodness. Also Ashe. I ban Ashe when I'm bottom lane. Okay. So if you're wondering, how do we actually win this game? I don't really want to go through all the straight up macro, but basically here you're gonna have to start to adopt the philosophy of I need to use whatever minute lead I might have, get 11 as soon as possible, or halfway there. We need to start breaking open towers and grouping up together to use the Lulu Warwick kit that we have, which is great against Katarinas and Shaco players. Or things. This is rough. Okay, so at this point, as I said, I'm not going to cover all the macro stuff. You need to look for a pick, you need to look for an overcommit from them. Here we have a perfect example of that. We do have Kraken Slayer completed, which means the damage is huge. Look at that. Really, really big damage. 2 people are dead, and this is when you start to claw back your victory, and you claw back the ability to win. So let's jump forward to look at a few more picks that we have, just to give you an idea of how the build plays out, because obviously that's why there's a Kraken Slayer on the thumbnail as well. Hopefully you would have recognized that. Out of base to the red, straight to the dragon. I like this always. They're going to try and contest, doesn't matter. And if they do contest, Tahm Kench's top lane, he does have TP, but we do not care. I'm so really sick of champions not needing flash, by the way. Now you just want to group up and be with your team and look for those picks. Your damage is insane, so use your movement speed. You know, if you have Relentless Hunter, use it. Look. There you go. There you go. Are you convinced? That's cute. Are you convinced yet? 66 on the ult, fall back to our camps. We did some good stuff. We reward ourselves with camp. Mid laner being pushed in. Malzahar isn't on the map. Oh look, they're committing. We can flash in. We hit our fear. And a TP comes in from the Thomas Kench. Sorry, I gulped some air there by accident. Happens, you know. Well, happens, I apologize. Yoink this, but essentially this is what we're looking to do at this point. You are an assassin now. This, no question about it. What are you doing? You big giant toad. That was weird. You big giant toad. Ugh. Don't walk back in this way. You can see the Shaco. Yeah, we just wanted to leave. You could have actually moved up, I think, to the Fnatic bush and just gone back there. Because if they rotate to you, then you're doomed and your team can just giga push. But yeah. What happens is, as you can see, a Baron, towers, dragons, another Baron. Is that a steal? Let's have a look. Because you're just stat checking using your build correctly. Goes into the Titanic and the Sterix as well, so I apologize for speedrunning this a little bit. They're trading a dragon, the Salt Point, for Baron, which is always a good use of doing that. You know, this percentage damage is nuts, though. Not percentage damage, the true damage. Percentage damage. And the bonus attack speed is super good, also. So I like it on things like Kindred. It forgoes the need to really force yourself into attack speed itemization if it doesn't make sense. I like that. So they do all that, and essentially they just close out through a few picks. We can just highlight it very, very quickly. They use the Baron play, but here we go. We're rotating. Let's see some team fighting. We always enjoy that. Ult. QSS is burned. Flash Fear doesn't happen, but we tank some tower shots, which allows the Darius to go in. Stopwatches galore. We can Q through to make another kill. We can keep healing. We can keep healing. Keep healing. Use your E, and we die. So that's a little overzealous once more on the tower. But again, try and use that ultimate to force a QSS, to force a flash. And now basically they can push. And one more pick. This is like a speedrun VOD review. Again, don't be without your team too much in these situations unless you're cashing on the side waves. And the final team fight here to win the game. All right, look, people usually like to prime their E as they go into these fights, okay? So you don't always need to do that because it's not just a fear, right? We're looking to absorb damage with that as well. So in this case, we use our ult for suppression to prevent her to go in. She gets eaten by Tahm Kench. Now we get Lulu ulted. They're killing the back line there. We can use our E afterwards to absorb all the damage as we're disrupting instead of always combining them together. And that's perfect. It's a great use of assassinating prior target, using your fear when you have to be the meat shield. And that gives you a lot of utility when you're going for a full AD build like that. So great pick, great use of the E. Overall, very patient game, and as you can see, 260 CS, cleaning up camps in between, pushing waves out. Very different to the Korean game, but hopefully you like the speed run. Just something a little extra for my Warwick friends and mains. Yeah. I know it's quick, but I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe if you did. Unless you're the Katarina, and then please, in which case, please stop playing Katarina because, that's just so irritating to have Katarina roaming to side waves like that so much. But, champion is, there we go. Thank you. Thank you. Finally. Nothing better than fearing and ulting a Katarina. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. New video on the main channel? Yeah, this week, definitely. 2 more for this channel, Friday, Saturday, I think. Definitely at least 1. I always play by ear. I don't want to, promise too much and then deliver too little, but as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.